She's like, I am gonna kiss you. All right, so let's talk Hawkeye. But before we talk Hawkeye, well, I'm not. But before we talk Hawkeye, let's just have a brief overview of Sophie, of the previous MCU series on Disney Plus. We started with WandaVision. WandaVision was about Scarlet Witch and Wanda, how she became Scarlet Witch. She took over a whole town. She became a superpowered Nexus being. Big stakes, big thing. Then there was White Vision, that whole thing with that. Monica, big stakes. Then we go to then we get to Falcon and Winter Soldier. Who's going to take the legacy of Captain America? Big deal.
Passing of the shield. Yeah.
Passing of the shield. Also dealt with, race relations in America. Big thing. Very important. Then we get to Loki. Time travel, multiple universes, possibly the fate of the universe. Big stakes. Now we come to Hawkeye. We're talking about a watch. No. As far as I know, that's all this is so far is who killed some rando and what's up with the watch.
Disagree strongly with that. Disagree strongly.
Go ahead. Please tell me why it's more than that.
This is all about Hawkeye dealing with his PTSD. Like he's got obviously the hearing loss, because you really think about it, like you have soldiers that come home that have hearing loss because of all the explosions they've been around. Think of all the explosive crap that's happened around Hawkeye. Like, Lord Almighty, that man still can hear? Like, that is insane.
Okay,
so you're dealing with that, and I'll get to the Echo part of that in another minute, but you're dealing with his PTSD of having lost his family, gotten them back, and now being apart from them again. Like, that's heartbreaking to me.
And the whole thing with Natasha. Okay.
And the whole thing with Natasha. Yeah. I'm not you cannot undersell the emotional part of this. I'm not saying, honestly, I'll chime in again a little bit later, but the action pieces in this are not my favorite parts, but the emotional stuff, that is hitting home. That is good stuff. Honestly, even the part between him and Echo, that is amazing to me. Anyway, I'll let Pam chime in. But
yeah, Pam, what are your thoughts on overall on Hawkeye?
I have to agree. I like the storytelling. I do like the storytelling, but some of there's so many like, wait, what kind of moments in it that it's taking away from the storytelling for me. Like, a lot of different things that have happened have just been, I'm backing up. Wait, what? And the introduction of, okay, what's her name? I'm blanking. I should have written notes.
Maya.
Maya. The introduction of Maya.
The deaf one.
Yes. Like, where'd she come from? Like, there's no history there, so I'm sort of like, what's going on now? Obviously,
she's a mob enforcer.
Oh, yeah, and obviously,
okay, but who cares?
Yeah, I'm right. I mean, I was sort of like, oh, okay, like this is cool, but there's too many things popping up that I have no frame of reference for, and for me, it's a problem. But I do love the storytelling, and I know people are saying it's slow, and what's happening, but I like that, and of course, Vera Farmiga, like I love her, so I was happy about her too. But
yeah,
I like it overall. I don't love it. I like it.
I do like that they're showing that Clint is he's a dude, and that's like my biggest criticism of my least favorite Avenger was either Black Widow or Hawkeye. At least Black Widow had skills. At least she was an assassin. At least she had administrative skills. Hawkeye's just a dude with a bow and arrow, but it shows that he has to, after a fight, he has to put ice packs on himself.
Oh yeah, ice up.
I like that.
The crazy drinks.
The thing with the hearing and stuff. It shows that he's been through a lot of stuff and all these battles and all these fights, and it takes a toll. It doesn't take a toll on Captain America. It didn't take a toll on Hulk or Iron Man or something like that because they were super powered or they have stuff, but he's just a guy, and it did take a toll.
One thing I do really like about what you're saying, he's human, but the first thing he's just human. He just has these normal human powers. But the first thing they started with was that like made up scene from Avengers where, she decides that loves Hawkeye and he's her favorite Avenger. That scene was awesome. Like that sort of put the whole thing in perspective. He's this very human guy who's dealing with all this stuff, but he was involved with that battle and he made that impression and he saved somebody. And so I like this setup a lot. That meant a lot.
I did like this setup, and I liked a lot the moment where his daughter, when they're in the auditorium watching the Rogers
a weird show
musical. Honestly, I'm stunned it took them this long to try to do that. But they're watching that, and he's just got to turn off his earpiece because he can't listen to the Nat character like go through her stuff because he knows exactly what she went through and exactly the burden that she had and that she died that way, and he just can't handle it. Like he doesn't want to hear it, so he doesn't want to hear it spun that way in like a big Broadway like musical kind of way. He just like he knows what really happened. He's just like nope, and he clicks it off.
He's not.
And his daughter, I do like that his daughter notices. That's there's some really good character development in this show. I will.
He's not over what happened with Natasha. He's not over. He's not over losing his family for 5 years in the blip. He's still dealing with that too. He did a lot of stuff as Ronin. He's not over that, and he's dealing with it now. So, as for him personally, going through a lot of stuff, okay, fine. But my point is, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, we complained about Eternals because it was just too, hey, there's this planet-eating thing, and the whole planet's about to go, and now we have, well, some dude has PTSD. Like we went from huge stakes to very tiny stakes.
Again, I disagree with that. I think this is the exact fix from Eternals that we wanted, where you get just character development galore. Like it's just him and Kate just developing his characters. Like that's it. Actually, you even get Hawkeye's wife in the last episode. She develops some. There's some deep stuff to uncover there.
There is. I do like this. Like I said, there's a story. There's a real story that doesn't rely on the action, which I like.
Yeah. So Joe, where do you want to start us as we progress through the 4 episodes?
I'm not gonna go over each episode. I'm just gonna. I mean, we're at we're just past episode 4. There's only 6 episodes. That's the thing. There's only 6. A lot of stuff better happen in episodes 5 and 6.
All right. So have you guys? I don't know if you guys have read the online stuff about episode 5. Episode 5 is supposed to like blow everyone's mind, like about what's happening in the show, and there's a million theories about it. Apparently, like Vincent D'Onofrio is going to come back as the Kingpin. Like there's like 1,000 things. So I don't know what you guys have heard.
Let's just go. Yeah, I've heard every single.
I've heard nothing.
Thing I've ever, any type of analysis thing I've ever seen or heard about, this show is, it's pointing to Kingpin. There are so many references to, they have a bigger boss, and the uncle and the big boss, and all these references to this big boss, and there's so many hints and things that point to Kingpin. And if that's the case, cool.
Who's Kingpin?
Okay. Let's. Okay.
So you didn't watch the Netflix series, but Kingpin is basically like this massive crime lord. He basically lords over all of New York / other areas of like organized crime. In the Daredevil Netflix series, he was portrayed by Vincent D'Onofrio. Shaved bald, looked fucking awesome. Like he was a great Kingpin. Sorry, I apologize for cursing.
Freaking awesome.
So that's one of the big prevailing theories.
I would now here's a question. So we've had on Netflix, we've had Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Punisher. Okay, they form the Defenders. And
Defenders. I mean,
Defenders, and was like them all getting together. So you have these all these characters. The question is, was that MCU canon, or are we about to introduce Kingpin as into the MCU canon? Who knows? We don't know. We don't know.
The only thing I can say is that Kevin Feige came out this week and said that when and if Daredevil appears in the MCU, he will be played by Charlie Cox,
who played him in the Daredevil.
Who played him in the Netflix series. So you got multiverses here. You could just throw crap around. I mean, I've actually
I heard he might show up in the Spider-Man movie.
Oh, I've heard he might. Yeah, there's solid rumors that he shows up as not as Daredevil, but as Matt Murdock.
Okay, so the TLDR version is Kingpin TLDR? Is basically a
what is TLDR?
Too long didn't read.
Oh, gotcha.
The Reader's Digest version of Kingpin is he is a big organized crime boss in New York. That's basically.
But he's also a very large human being and very strong, and he happens to be bald. So again, I encourage you so much, Pam, over the Christmas break, watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, because they just released the first teaser for the sequel, and it's awesome.
Into the Spider-Verse is cool. And if you have some time, at least the very first Daredevil, Daredevil season 1, good stuff.
God, I thought you were gonna say the Daredevil movie, and I was like, no, stay away.
With Ben Affleck. No. Stay very far away with that. So anyway, that's what the all the hints and stuff are saying. All the speculation is Kingpin is coming. So
the big theory that I heard was that scene in the 4th episode where Kate's mom, whose name is escaping me right now, takes a second away and does that phone call, and she's like, hey, can you call me back? You don't know who she's calling. No, so the two big theories are Kingpin or Val to send Yelena after Clint. Like, that's the moment where Val is like, oh yeah, you want a shot at the person that kills your sister? Like that scene we saw at the end of Black Widow, that's where that scene comes from, is her calling Val and being like, I need Clint out of the picture.
Hey bestie, remember that guy you were looking for to kill? He was in my house. Yeah. That totally could be a thing. I've heard that the mom is
Madame Mask.
Is okay. Sorry, Pam, what were you gonna say?
No, like nothing. Something that has to do with something that's in a movie would be really good for me, because as that person that watches the movies, I don't know who all these other people are.
Right.
And I can't be alone. I can't be alone though. And I have you guys, that I'm very lucky, but I can't be alone in being like, okay, who the heck are all these people?
That's why I'm thinking that none of those shows are actually part of this whole thing. And then they're going to have to reintroduce Kingpin. We'll see. But another thing I've heard is, there's so many hints of what's the stepdad's name? Jack.
Jack
yeah.
accuse.
That they keep hinting that he's like a bad guy or something like that, and really the bad guy is the mom. The mom is.
I would believe that.
I got this.
Yes, Andrew.
So like I said, I did the deep comic dive. In the comics, Jack is a character named Swordsman. He started off as kind of like this this communist kind of character, so sort of a villain, but way back in like the 60s or 70s. And then he came and aged, and he trained Hawkeye on how to use bladed weapons, while another one used arrows, and he took more to the arrows and all this stuff. He's been an Avenger. He marries Mantis at one point. Like he's got a really weird.
So yeah, in the comics, he basically teaches Hawkeye how to use a sword.
Okay. Basically, yeah. Yeah, he's got a really weird backstory, but
yeah, the stepdad does this. Yeah,
the stepdad does. Jack. But they're not using that. I don't think they're using that at all.
They're not using that.
But I honestly think he's placed there as a decoy. I think Jack is just going to be a good dad that happened to take fencing at one point. Like I honestly think he's just going to be like, oh, I had no idea any of this was going on.
There's a little more to that, because he is Clint's wife said, oh, by the way, he's the head of some corporation or something like that.
Oh, Sloan Company or Sloan Corporation.
Right.
See, I don't trust the wife. I don't trust the mom at all. And I think the mom set him up. Yeah.
You think that might just be like a dummy accounting thing? Like, oh yeah, I'm going to make you the head of this dummy accounting. Yeah. It's possible.
That is my entire thought.
Okay.
The mom is sus as crap.
Here's another thing we need to figure out. What was up with the original dad?
Oh yeah, where did he go?
What happened there? And is he really dead?
Well, yeah,
I don't think
isn't he got blown up when the Chitauri attacked, right? No,
yeah, but
he just disappears.
You just assume he died. So yeah.
I'm being really
jump on a Chitauri
here.
skier and be like, yeah, I'm out.
Me and Loki are like this.
Yeah, I mean, and another thing, the wife who's in Missouri just calls up her husband and says the wife. I'm sorry, the wife of
Hawkeye's wife.
Of Hawkeye, yeah.
She's talking. She and Hawkeye are talking, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I found out that there's a Sloan Corporation and he's the head, and I found out all this stuff." Like, what Google do you have, lady? Where are you?
Mockingbird.
Yeah,
I wondered about that too. Like, is she some sort of extra character superpower person too? I mean,
no, she's not superpowered. That's the theory that I've heard, is that she is Mockingbird.
The speculation is that she was an agent
of S.H.I.E.L.D. She was one of their best, like right up there with Black Widow, and that's the theory that I've heard. So I honestly could see that though.
Yeah.
If she was back in the day, like one of the best spies, and she just like her and Hawkeye hooked up, and she retired to take care of the kids and protect the house, and that's why she knew Nat, and like that would be a good. Just some
advice. I mean, yeah, it worked out for Hawkeye that you go out with someone that you're working with, but a lot of times it does not work out. So watch out, people. We don't all have bows and arrows, and we're not all super spies. Sometimes dating people from work, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. So be careful.
Valid.
Well, so what do you guys think of the relationship between Kate and Hawkeye?
It's a father-daughter relationship. I that was one of the things I was so very worried about, is like, are they going to try to put some sort of like weird sexual thing in here, some Oedipus like complex? It's father-daughter. She sees him as a father figure, and he sees her as a daughter that needs to be saved. That's 100% what the relationship.
It's a cool dynamic.
At least in my mind.
About,
I could be wrong.
You know, the whole thing. I mean, and they were like almost direct parallels where she was hanging, you know, from the building, and it looked almost exactly like when he was, you know, with Natasha on that.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
There's a whole moment in that 4th episode where he pauses and he just
you hear the music in the background, and it's Black Widow music. And
yes, I'm glad somebody else heard that. Yay!
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing about this series. This series is not the best action series. The series isn't the funniest, but they get me emotionally with a lot of these scenes. Like that scene, that got me a lot. That tugged at my heartstrings. So
yeah.
I'm not buying Kate Bishop. I don't know. There's something about her that's
Haley Steinfeld?
Yeah. Here's the thing.
It's amazing.
I am a huge fan. Me and my daughter are huge fans of the Pitch Perfect series, movies. And in the Pitch Perfect movies, Haley Steinfeld plays a role, almost the same role. She's almost the Kate Bishop of the Pitch Perfect movie. She's like the next generation of a cappella singers. And when I see her,
rewatch that.
I see the character from Pitch Perfect. I don't know. There's something about how the character is being portrayed. Okay, Hawkeye. Just give me a second. Hawkeye is, you know, a trained. We just said he was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. He was brought in. He was an assassin. He's an expert. You know, sword, bow and arrow person, an expert sword person. He is a badass fighter, and he's going to be replaced by a teenage girl who has like 1/100th of the skills that he has. I just don't see the parallel. I don't see that's who you're passing it down to. She is nothing close to being a badass. And there is something that we need to talk about where she had a kill shot on somebody and didn't take it. So
I can definitely weigh in on that. Pam, please go.
No, go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say.
Go ahead, Andrew.
So the whole thing about him being a trained assassin and like your issues with him handing down the mantle to somebody that doesn't have his same training, I think that's his way of atoning. He doesn't want the next quote unquote Hawkeye to be an assassin, a killer. He wants the next Hawkeye to be what he hoped he could be. Like he wants it to be like somebody that saves people. So that's how Kate Bishop's character sees him, as somebody that helped save New York and helped save the world and all that stuff. And he doesn't see himself as that because he knows what he's done. So he wants somebody with her optimism to come in and make those choices and just be like, you know what, we're just going to help people. We're just going to save people. We're just going to do these good things and not have to make those difficult choices. So whether that's going to work out or not, I don't know. But I think that's what Hawkeye sees in her. I think that's what Clint Barton specifically sees in her.
Are we okay? So we really are headed for Kate taking over for Hawkeye. I mean, that sounds like you guys know. I don't listen to any of the extra stuff. It sounds like that's almost a done deal. And the way they set up that 4th episode, I agree with you, Andrew. It's sort of like he wants her to be better than him. But then at the end of that episode, he's like, no, we're done, go. So
he doesn't want her to be tainted by what he has to do. And he knows he has to do some dark, like really messed up stuff. And he wants her to be the cleaner, better version of him, essentially.
And there's that whole thing where he had that conversation with the mom, where the mom's like, because Clint's like, hey, she's pretty good. It's like, yeah. Well, Natasha was pretty good too. And what happened to her? So I'm looking out for my kid. Stay away from my kid.
That was a deep dig at him by her. And I love how Hawkeye rolled it off. And he's like, and she's like, yeah, you got to drop this case. And he's like, yeah, well, I can't do that, ma'am. and he just closes the door, like, end scene, like, I'm out.
I liked that. Yeah. But
I did like that. I did like that Hawkeye has some, like, a little bit of self-respect for himself. But yeah, he sees himself as a villain. He doesn't see himself as a hero. He sees himself as like a dark, like, nasty person. He doesn't want Kate to be that. So
I agree that that's where he's headed with his thought process. And then there's the fact that, I mean, he did, like, I don't know about you guys, but for me, all of his stuff all those crimes he committed as Ronin, like once he came back to the Avengers fold, you kind of forget about that. But he hasn't. And
Right.
I like that part of his personality that he didn't let that go. So I'm seeing in my vision of what's going to happen the next 2 episodes, he needs to atone for those sins that he views, and then she's going to take over. But I didn't realize that until this episode, to be honest, because I haven't listened to all the hype at all.
Yeah, no, I really do like that. I think you're spot on. They completely just brush away the fact that he was just out there murdering people for 5 years. And
they were supposed to be bad people too. I mean,
they're bad people. He was a Punisher. He was basically Punisher. Like,
he was Dexter.
We can just chalk that up.
Good analogy. He was Dexter. He was killing people for a good purpose.
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, Pam is 100% right. They just tossed that away for Endgame. They're just like, hey, Clint, come put on this suit and you can just jump into this time thing with us. They have no prerequisitions for that. And yeah, but I like that they're finally dealing with Clint's PTSD about that, about the blip, about the snap, about like all of this garbage, and him just like, he knows what he did. He knows what he did, and he knows it's wrong, but he still wants to be with his family. So like, I like that they're addressing these character issues because they're actually good character issues, and that is so rare for Marvel.
In all 4 of these series, they're in everything since the blip and everything since Endgame, they're actually addressing it, which I love. I love that because WandaVision was PTSD, or at least something.
But she was dealing with the loss of vision, and she was
traumatic loss, like anything, all that,
that's great. They're dealing with it.
Captain America and Winter Soldier was dealing about like feelings of like, oh, who takes on the mantle and why should I take on the mantle and am I worthy and like all that good stuff. Like they've all had, Loki was even taking on like, why am I even here? Like they were all taking on really good concepts. And I think this one is a good successor to that in taking on the fact that I did some messed up stuff. How do I cope with that? Like, how do I really cope with that? So
deep stuff.
I'm okay. I'm okay with taking a show like this, a multi-episode show, and doing a deep dive into one of the main characters' psyches. I'm okay with that. I'm not complaining about this show.
So
I complain about Eternals. I'm not complaining about this.
Oh well, we all complain about Eternals, but yeah. But so seriously, what don't you like about it though, Joey?
Like I said, the consequences and the stakes are so low. Yes, it's very nice to get into
that though.
It's very nice to get into a deep dive into one of the OG characters, one of the OG Avengers. That's cool, but in the grand scheme of things, who cares? The world will continue whether Clint is okay mentally or not. The world will be just fine.
But I do, because I care about the street level character, because I care about the character. I don't like that. That was my issue with Eternals, was you just blew this world way too big and you forgot your street level characters. This series is literally just street level Clint Barton, like running and gunning, trying to figure out arrows and like driving cars and stuff. Like that. Give me that. I'm cool with that one.
Falcon and Winter Soldier dealt a lot with the psyche of Sam and Bucky, and in the end, they resolved that Sam is okay becoming Captain America, and they have this moment, and Bucky
and they
has
fix the
his
boat
progression
and shit.
too.
Yeah.
But here, it's the point of this is Clint passing the baton to Kate. So
I don't think that's necessarily it.
Okay, if you're saying it's because it's Clint dealing with his stuff, and I think this is the end of this show is going to be Clint either retires or hopefully not dies, and Kate takes over.
You think he's gonna die, Pam?
I do. I think he's gonna die. After watching it last night, I think he's gonna die.
Oh,
very possible.
Hits me right in the freaking heart. Can we like I know we were in this conversation. Can we dial back real quick to the scene, I think it was an episode ago, where Clint's hearing aid is busted and he gets the call from his son. And and Kate writes down what his son is saying. That scene broke my freaking heart.
Yeah.
I died during that scene. Like that was just like
all his family wanted to do was spend a Christmas with him, and they're not, and that sucks.
Not even that he's not there, but he wants to be there, and he can't even hear his son. My heart broke during that scene.
The whole thing about how and I believe the actress that plays Maya
is actually deaf. Yeah,
is actually deaf, which is really cool. And I believe she's getting her own show.
Okay.
Oh yes, she's getting a spin-off show. And the really cool thing was Haley Steinfeld and Jeremy Renner actually learned basic ASL before they came on the set with them.
It's very sweet.
With her.
It's very sweet. My daughter's learning ASL now, and she's very excited. But sorry, Pam, what were you going to say?
Thank you.
No. I that's all very cool. I would like to learn ASL myself, but why would this character who no one has ever heard of get this show? That's my problem with all this. You're talking about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier and what happened with them, and resolving their PTSD problems, and Hawkeye resolving his problems. I care about them. I have a history with them. I've been learning about these characters since 2008. I don't know anything about Maya. I don't know that's the Eternals. I didn't know anything about them.
She had a quarter of an episode, and they're giving her own
I did
show.
like that backstory, though. That backstory gave me reasons to care about her.
Hey, but
all right. So being a teacher, being a former teacher, that scene in the classroom hit so close to home because I've seen students with educational deficiencies, I guess is the best way I could say that, struggle in classrooms because they're not properly diagnosed, and that is absolutely freaking terrible. So I really felt that scene, but I mean that may have just been me projecting my own stuff into the show, but
aren't you even doing that situation a disservice by playing the devil's advocate? If you're satisfied that subject, which is a huge subject, and I agree with you, was brought up in that tiny little way in this tiny little piece of this show, like that's not satisfying.
Right.
I need more of that. And we're not going to get more of that.
I'm just happy it's been represented.
And I'm okay with, I get the point of, is like, well, you have this minor character from this show that we just got introduced to, and now they're giving her own show, but they're gonna do it right. They're gonna do it right.
But they're giving her her own show. She's getting a whole backstory.
But I get your point that you're looking into Hawkeye, who we've known for 13 years now, and then this person who we've known for 13 minutes, and we're supposed to care about her. Yeah, I get it. There's almost a whole lot of characters actually. You could do. There's maybe there was a Chitauri family or something, or a Chitauri soldier that got stuck in upper New York State or something like that. Let's do a show about him.
Hey, we know we've seen more screen time of the Chitauri. Give me that family.
Right.
I know about them.
Yeah.
The other thing, and we briefly touched on this, is Yelena got we knew it was coming. We knew Yelena was going to show up. But we saw her.
I forgot. I'm gonna tell you the truth, but
because
I did. I was like,
you loved Black Widow so much that it was so
repressed
burned in you.
That movie. Well,
I feel
Echo
terrible feeling that way.
Well, can we all address the fact that Echo basically has the exact same powers as Taskmaster, but doesn't have to be in a weird Red Widow room for it? She's just like, yep, I got this.
Well, there was speculation that she was a Black Widow, but anyway,
yeah.
Wait,
what?
I think that was before we found out. Yeah, never mind.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
Your Honor, strike that from the record. But okay,
Editor.
so the whole thing with Yelena, first of all, so she shows up, and there's basically for the tag team championships, her and Maya against Clint and Kate.
Can I just say, I do love the fact that when Kate is fighting Maya in her own apartment, she's like, "Oh, Maya's here," and then Clint is like, "No, Maya's up here." And then like, "No, she's definitely in here." It's like, then who am I fighting?
Yeah, and then I started to think, wait a minute, is Natasha coming back? Like, I just had this brain fart. I was like, wait a minute, who is that?
Lord, if they
Totally
bring Natasha back, I will be so thrilled. I will miss Black Widow in this Avengers MCU.
Does the pose that she was making fun of her sister for. She does that pose now. But anyway,
I saw that, yeah.
But she had this goggle thing that is supposed to be something in the comics of when I guess she was part of Thunderbolts or something like that. So anyway,
I think I think that is a costume accurate version of one of her times appearing in the comics, but everybody's had so many costumes across so many comics. It's so hard to keep track of.
But tell me this. So they're fighting. Yelena throws Kate over the building. Kate is hooked to the building with a grappling.
Yeah, that little belt buckle.
I have seen where it was actually Yelena that hooked her to the building as she was throwing her off.
I thought that. I thought that watching it.
She hooked Kate to the building so that Kate wouldn't die.
I will have to watch that.
That's what I thought.
That series again.
Look at that scene again. I've seen it. It's really quick, but I've seen it.
Well,
okay, well, I wasn't crazy then.
So I don't know one way or the other, but that may play into a scene that we're going to talk about in just a second.
Which I'm going to get to right now, where Kate has a shot. She has the kill shot, and Yelena just gives her a look or like a nod.
No, she doesn't just give her a look. She does a little head nod. And says no.
Yeah.
And
Kate stops.
Kate puts the bow down. So
why?
I've heard two interpretations of this. One is that Kate thought that she knew who it was. She thought she knew who was under the mask, which I don't think that's actually an accurate thing. The second one, which I think is a better theory, is that Yelena shook her head at Kate and said, basically trying to convey through a head shake, don't do this. You can't come back from this. Like, don't be a killer.
Remember.
And Kate kind of got that through context. That's the best theory I've heard.
Remember when Kate and Clint were talking and Kate says, "What was your best shot?" And he says, "The best shot I ever took was the one I didn't take." Maybe she was thinking about that because remember, Kate's the new Hawkeye. Yelena's the new Black Widow. There's a whole parallel there.
Yeah, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense.
I mean, that does sort of make sense. Are they going to partner up? Yay!
Well,
I would actually love to see that partnership. That would be an amazing partnership.
Has to come with them though, because one of the things that annoys me about Yelena, okay, so it's all coming back now, but Yelena is her vendetta against Clint is based on untruths. And like, I can't stand things that are, I mean, it's obviously a movie ploy and I get it, but obviously at some point she's going to find out Clint did not kill her sister.
Why?
So what, Joe? Yeah.
Why did Val say that? Why?
Yeah.
What reason does Val have to say, go kill? Hey,
Right.
trained assassin.
Bring.
That's the bad
Go
side.
kill that guy.
Yeah.
What do you think, Andrew?
Bring.
What are you
That's the
doing?
phone call. I'm saying. That's what Kate's mom's
With
phone
Kate's
call was
mom.
about. That is my strongest prevailing theory. Is
Well,
that Kate's mom called Val and said, I need Hawkeye out of the picture so my daughter doesn't get either hurt or mixed up in what I'm doing.
Okay.
And
That makes sense.
She called in and Val was like, yeah, hey, Elena, you want to go kill the person that apparently killed your sister, which isn't, again, really 100% true. And she's like, yeah, let's go.
That makes sense.
That
makes
makes sense. That makes sense. So
It does. And you don't, again, going back to that actress, I love that actress. You don't bring an actress that big in who's not going to be some huge major part of the story.
She's supposed to be like really big in the 5th episode. Like in the next episode, she's supposed to be like very significant.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I like her. She's a great actress.
Yeah. I like Elena Pugh. So.
I like
Florence Pugh.
Elena morphed into this character.
Sorry, I mashed those two names together. I'm sorry.
I like it. No, I like her too.
Can we talk about what is your guys' favorite trick arrow from Hawkeye so far? I know what mine is.
The goop, the purple goop was pretty cool.
The purple goop.
I kind of like that one that had like little spider hands and sucked everything in. I thought
what was that? Was that the one with the Christmas trees where they just sucked?
Yeah. Nah, the best one is the Pym arrow. The Pym arrow for the win.
Oh my god!
Wait.
I was like Pym particles.
Okay. So they combine the arrows somehow, and because of Pym particles, it becomes a giant arrow that falls down right on top of a truck on a bridge.
Well, he told her shoot it high as if you're trying to hit their truck from the sky, and he hits the arrow with the Pym thing, and it makes it massive, and then they just like drop it.
My question was, why didn't that blow up the bridge, or why didn't that hurt the bridge?
Because it's a suspension bridge. They didn't hit any of the suspension.
But that was a big road. Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't hit the suspension.
Listen.
That's the thing supporting the dang bridge.
Andrew, I live in a town of bridges, and and many of them are falling apart.
I was born to an engineer. Do not question my logic.
Okay, well, here's what happened. So there's a Liberty Bridge. Pam, you remember this? There was a car that caught fire.
Yes.
It almost melted the bridge.
So yes, I do remember that.
How close was it to the suspension?
I don't know. I don't know if it was a suspension or whatever.
Then your argument isn't valid.
I'm just saying that didn't do any damage to the bridge. Anyway.
Bridge is still there.
Yeah.
I claim victory in this argument.
Listen, me and Pam are superheroes because every time we drive on one of those bridges, we could die. So
that's right.
We're just as heroic as Hawkeye.
We take our lives in our hands on a regular basis.
We do. Thank you. Have
you seen the potholes in Philly? I drive in the Philly suburbs.
We got some potholes around here too, buddy. We have. I think there are potholes so big on some of those bridges that you could see down to the river. I'm not joking.
Oh, I'm 100% sure you're correct about that. Yeah,
we're
scary.
We're in trouble. All
right.
One of these days.
How much do we all love Lucky the Pizza Dog? Is that not the best thing about this entire series?
That's cute. Yeah, the pizza.
Okay.
Although it almost hit the pizza dog when they were throwing, but when they were making coins into weapons, they almost hit pizza dog.
Yes, it did. The poor dog. I was like, oh my god, you cannot hit that dog.
They didn't hit him.
Almost.
What about the LARPers? I'm actually very scared for the LARPers.
Sorry,
go back to the dog for 1 second. Okay, so ever since the Flurkin in Captain Marvel, I see every animal and think, is this animal going to be something? Is this animal going to do something? I know, I can't help it though. You introduce an animal who has superpowers and it's some kind of major creature, and that's where my mind goes immediately.
This is literally a golden retriever with one eye that likes to eat pizza.
You never know.
That is the
you
extent.
Yeah, you never know.
I'm from
have
the
heard-
comic books. They could change it.
I've heard a whole other theory that they're a Kroll involved. That
There you go.
the Clint's wife might be a Kroll. Maybe Pizza Dog is a Kroll. Hey, if you could be another person, you could be a dog too. And hey,
I have heard the wife as a Kroll thing before, but
the kids could be Krolls.
What?
His kids could be Krolls.
I
could be a Kroll. Think about it.
You could be.
That
would explain a lot, actually.
Sorry, my secret's out.
So, did you guys see any of the new Spider-Man stuff that was released?
No.
Was Willem Dafoe's actual face like popping up in the trailer where he throws the pumpkin bomb?
So 1 week from today is when it opens.
Seeing it at 5.
When
I know you
Pam,
guys.
when are you gonna see it?
I'm seeing it at 5. By this time next week, I will be fully aware of everything that is in Spider-Man No Way Home.
I'm seeing it at 3.
Oh, you bastard.
Yeah, Pam, when are you gonna see it?
I'm likely going to see it Christmas week because I'm supposed to be home Christmas week, and it depends on when that baby comes. So yeah, don't know.